All right, hello everyone. Welcome to our paper pumpkin class. It is June 4th, and we are working on the May kit from 2026. And we've got a couple of people online. Some people might hop in, but we're going to flip over to my desktop so we can go ahead and get started. So let me just highlight my desktop. I'm doing the wrong one. I'm trying to turn myself off. Here it is. Spotlight for everyone. Okay, here we go. So this is our kit today. So it is called Sparkling Celebrations. And when we open it up, you know, all of your stuff is wrapped in that pretty tissue paper. I already took mine out. So we get a Misty Moonlight spot. And of course, I'm going to be using my regular size pad because I can, and I do donate these. So just this weekend, I donated a whole bunch of spots to a group of people who did not have ink pads. So that is what I do with that. So that's why I'm going to use a full-size pad. Then we have a little baggie that has mini dimensional. And then also these little gems. We're only using these gems on one card, and they're very similar to our Druzy embellishments, which are on the last chance list. So if you like them, you might want to take a look at the last chance list and check those out. So then we have our stamp set. All right, you can see there's some fireworks going on, whatnot. So let's go ahead and open up our package, and we're going to divide our supplies, making room over here, into piles. So we're going to make 3 piles because we're making 3 cards. And if you want, you can follow along. I'm just going to be going with that last page of our instructions, which are also found on the reverse side of your kit package. So that is what I use, and that's all I'm doing. So I'm just going to walk through the package. And of course, we have our tear and tape, which is the solution that they've been doing instead of giving us those little dots, which is great because tear and tape is awesome. Then we have our envelopes, and they are, they're not all the same, but they are similar and they're printed, but we're not actually going to use our envelopes today. So we've got 3 different styles, but they kind of look like a night sky. So this is more like sunset and just varying shades of night, if you will. Okay, so first thing we have is the card base for card number 3. Look at that, all those little dots. They're really very pretty. And just so you know, it's going to be this way. As of course I took it out, I'm like, oh, look at that. What are those? You know, and then if you turn it over, you see they're lanterns. So that is card number 3.
Yeah.
All right, and you can put the rest aside. So then we have a die cut sheet. There are 3 die cut sheets. You just need the one, and we're going to punch these out. This street lamp, which looks like one of those gas lamps, right? And this goes with card number 1. So that's my pile for card number 1. And then the 2 fireworks, there's only 2 here. So when you punch them out, you'll see there's one really big one. That's going to go with card number 2, as is the little one. So we're using that whole sheet, and you can put the other sheets aside. Oh my God, I keep tossing to my recycle bin, and I keep missing. So big mess. Okay, next up is the card base for card number 1. And so I'm just picking up my street lamp so that I can put it on top of that. That's card number 1. Then you can put the rest away. Then we have this die cut, and you can see it's going to be like a window. And that goes with card number 3. And the rest can go away. Good so far, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. Then we have our card base for card number 2. I just love this. And I could definitely see cutting this in half and using it as a layer because I would want to use this. This would make a great background for like a holiday card too, I think. So very pretty. So anyway, so that is the base for card number 2. And then we have a sheet of what we're going to be stamping on for our sentiments. So the flag stamp, flag die cut looks like this. That goes with card number 1. The next one, you're gonna be cutting it. It's gonna be in half, and it's really like it's a windowsill, is really what it is. So it looks like this, and this goes with card number 3. And finally, the starburst, and that goes with card number 2. And you see there's an extra one of each, which is great, just in case you make a mistake. And then the last sheet in our package are the fun, shiny embellishments. So for this, we're going to punch out what we need. So I'm just starting with this starburst only because it fell out. So you're going to need 3 of these starbursts, and they all go to card number 2. Again, it's just 3 of those. And go to card number 2. And then if you look right above the starbursts, you have those lanterns. And you need a big lantern, 1 big lantern. It's going to go to card number 3. 1 small lantern, and that goes to card number 3, as does one of the double lanterns. So there are two on this die cut. And that goes with card number 3 as well.
What was the second thing? Oh, the little one. Okay.
Yeah. So you've got a big one, a little one, and a double.
And that goes with the window.
Yeah, that goes with card number 3, the window.
Okay.
And then we have the little lights. They're like light bulbs, and you need 1 of each size, and they're all going to card number 1. So a little one, and a medium one, and a big one. And all the rest of those you save for later. Okay. The one, I'm going to take my card number 2 and 3 and just push them up on my desk so I have room to work down here. Okay. And I'm going to take the pile for card number 1. Okay. So these are the pieces that we have. And we're going to fold, actually, you don't need to fold your card in half. One thing that you might want to do is have a piece of scrap paper to put this card on. And actually, I folded it, but I'm going to open it up again. And we want to work with the yellow portion at the bottom. And we're going to do some stamping on there. And for that, we'll get our block. And we're going to be using this big stamp. Now, this big stamp is it has a little bit of texture on it, just a little bit. And it's really some trees. It's like treetops is what the design is. And if you want to try it out or just, prime your stamp, you can just ink it up and stamp on your scrap paper so that you see what we're working with. And you can see if you have a hair or a string on it like I do. Give me a second to try to figure that out. Somewhere on here. It is. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to stamp across the bottom, and they are going to overlap. So I'm just making sure that a little bit goes off the edge of the bottom. And then I'm going to go back to my ink pad each time for this card, because we're just making like a forest so that we can, see the lights above. So again, you want to make sure that you get it all the way down. So I'm just going to come back in and fill that in by going upside down. There we go. because I want it to look right, and you can see how they overlap.
Could you slow down a little?
But you go at your pace. I'm just trying to so you can see what it is.
Just trying to find the stamp.
Oh, so it's the big one on the, do you have your stamps?
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay.
And I put several along the bottom.
We're stamping these trees along the bottom.
Oh, they're trees? Okay.
Yeah, they're tree tops. And I'm getting like a blank space. And I did that on my other one too. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just going to fill in.
Yeah, mine did fine.
Yeah, I think it might be my desktop.
Yes, because when I did it on the side, I did have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when I did it on the glass, it worked better for me.
So when you get that stamp, just let me know. Yep. And don't close your ink pad because we still need it.
How many did you put along the bottom? 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and they went off the edge and they overlapped and
Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so then we're going to take our label, and the label, the flag is going to the right side. Okay, I'm going to move my paper so that I can stamp. And the stamp they used on this one was "You're invited." You are invited. And I got to say, I don't have a use for that. So I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to use, say, is this going to fit? Wishing you happiness just barely fits. So that's what I'm going to try to do. You might want to wait to see if I get it on there or not. Or you can use a stamp of your own. You can go back and do that later if you want, if you don't have it handy right away. Because of course you could always do whatever you want. But it just looks like it's going to barely fit. There we go. Okay, that S is coming off a little bit, but we're going to go with it. Wishing you happiness on mine, but they used "You are invited." Okay, so that is all the stamping on this card. And we're just going to assemble it. So for the assembly on this, hold my card again. I know what I'm dealing with. And the first thing we're going to put on is our street lamp. Now, you can use your tear and tape. I'm just going to use my regular adhesive because I can. I have it right here. And of course, I'm hoarding my tear and tape for a rainy day. I'm just using my regular Stampin' Seal, and it goes all the way, just about all the way, to the left side of the card, or at least that's how this is designed. You can see that the string of lights is in the background, and then you've got your street lamp there. And now all of our other pieces are going to get dimensionals. So you're going to put a dimensional on each, you know how the light bulb has like the black top and then the bulb is at the bottom? On that bulb is where your dimensionals are going to go. So you just need one on each one. And your stamped label is also going to get dimensional. So we'll do them all at the same time. So I'm going to switch to my regular dimensionals, only because I can. Keep wasting and using little ones. Let's see. And voicemail. I'm getting a phone call on my. Okay, let's fix this. Sorry. Got a phone call. It was spam. Not nice to do in the middle of recording. So there we go. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't mess up our recording. Okay. Great. So the one last thing you are going to do is we're going to take either a little piece of tear and tape or your regular adhesive. And on that biggest one, the biggest light, so you have your dimensional at the bottom underneath the light bulb. And then just a little bit, I think it might be overkill, but that's what they suggest doing. I just put a little adhesive up here, okay? That they did, because the way we're going to assemble, and I suggest you just take off all your backings if you haven't already, so that you can lay them down. We're going to start with the smallest one, and that one goes right about here. So it's at the base of, oops, maybe a little higher. So it goes like on an angle at the base of the light coming from the street lamp. Okay, so remember your dimensional is at the bottom. Then we're going to take our middle one, the middle size one, and this one's going to go overlapping on the black and maybe tilting it slightly the other direction. And finally, that last one, and this is why they recommended putting a little extra adhesive at the top so that they can all kind of come together. So you've got those little extra fancy lights underneath your street lamp. And then your sentiment just goes right underneath the lights. And I like to tuck them under just a little bit just to give that flow. So whether you have wishing you happiness or you're invited, that is how the card is designed. And that is it. Super simple card. The background paper that makes these cards, really. Like I said, the back of this card is so pretty. I might cut it off and put it, just mount it onto another card as the front, and then use this for something else because it is very pretty. How'd you do, Lynn?
Okay. Good. I did happy birthday.
Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't have one here, but yeah, that is definitely what I would do.
I always need so many birthday cards.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Are we ready to move to card number 2?
Yes.
Okie dokie. So this one just has lots of fireworks, 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 fireworks. So the first thing we're going to do is stamp. So we're going to be stamping on that starburst there. And they used Time to Celebrate, which is good for, anything. So this one, could be birthday, could be graduation, could be 4th of July. So I guess that's what they were planning on. So it's the Time to Celebrate. Just inking it up and putting it in the center of that starburst. Like that. And that's all the stamping on this card. Let me know when you've got that stamped.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so let's fold our card base. Give it a nice crease. Okay, so we're going to start with the Time to Celebrate. And this starburst is going to go up in the top left corner of your card. And we're using regular, tear and tape or Stampin' Seal to glue this down, because this is just going to kind of blend into the background, kind of like be the moon, if you will, in a night sky. Even though it's got ridges like a sun, we're going to call it a moon. And then all the other pieces are going to get dimensionals. So, and we're just going to be layering on top of each other. So I'm just going to turn them all over, and I'm using my regular size ones only because, I saved those little ones for when I really need it for something small. And we're just adding dimensionals to the back of each. And one thing that I always do, I've been trying to point this out, is whenever I lay it, as soon as I put down my dimensional, I put my thumbnail into the center of it. So that way when I go back to peel it off, it peels off really easily in terms of the backing. Just a little tip. And I'm going to come back and take off all those backings. You see how easy it is because I've already got the edges coming up. So let me know when you've got all your dimensionals on and are ready to assemble.
You used 3 on the big one?
I did. I mean, you can use as many or as few. Actually, it looks like they used like 5. I don't know. I think it's overkill. But that's just me.
Go ahead, I'm sticking to everything.
Okay, so we're going to start with that half firework, and the reason it's in half is because we're putting it all the way to the top edge. So just go ahead and line it up with that top edge. So this was nice of them. We don't have to go back and cut it or anything. So we've got that one at the top. And next we have that big one, and in that same vein, you can see it's like a puzzle. This is the edge of the puzzle. So it has a straight edge on the left side, and that is going to go on the left side, and you can overlap as much or as little as you want. You can fiddle with it. Just make sure your whole sentiment shows. It doesn't have to be the whole label showing, but at least the words. You want to make sure your words are showing. And then we just put on the little ones. And you, of course, could put these anywhere you want. But I'm going to show you where they put them. They put one in the top right, because they kind of made a visual triangle. And then they put one, so this is a double layer of dimensionals there. So you've, double popped up, but sometimes that's okay. Rules are made to be broken, right? And then the final one was down here. So we've got our half one up here. We've got the big one with the straight edge on the left side lined up with the left edge of the card. And then we have our little sparklers, one in the top right corner, one right underneath the Time to Celebrate on top of the big one, and then the final one down at the bottom. And this is the card that gets the little gems. And the gems, they're so pretty. So they're almost the same as our druzy elements, but I happen to have my druzy embellishments out, and they're not exactly the same. But we're going to use one in the center of each of the smaller fireworks. And of course, you could use take your pick tool for this. I'm just using my fingernails today. I had a class today, so my bag is packed still. And then you don't need those embellishments anymore, so you can put them back into your box. So I think a lot of people will like this card because it's just so bright and sunny, even though, we all look at each other and say, boy, that was pretty easy, right? But I think because, it's got lots of fun colors on it, and it just says time to celebrate. I think it will be a popular card. So, all right. So just let me know when you're done. You can give me a thumbs up when you're done.
Oh, come on.
Take your time. No rush. Do you have lights on your deck, Lois? On your back deck, do you have those little lights, the fairy lights?
Not the fairy lights. They're more like these lights. They're a little
Oh,
bigger.
okay. Yeah. I never did put any up because I don't use our patio.
You don't sit
Yeah,
out.
we didn't do it at the house, but we did it here.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that, Lynn?
You don't sit outside?
Well, not in the evening.
Oh,
I get eaten alive.
Yeah.
oh,
I am just like a mosquito magnet. So,
oh,
yeah, I avoid it. So, okay, are we ready to move on?
yes.
Okie dokie. Let's go to the last card. Now, this one you're going to want a piece of scrap paper again because we're going to be doing our stamping. And remember, on this card base, the lanterns are at the top. So we're going to be stamping on the yellow at the bottom, so down here. And we're going to use that same stamp of the treetops, I guess. I do like the way that, you know, what they're trying to do, the scene that they're trying to set with this. Okay. So you're going to take your ink pad.
Hmm.
And for this, we want them to be pretty light. So we're going to stamp. So we're doing the back as well. Okay, so you can see I have the card open and I'm going to start on the left side and I'm going to be going off the edge and I'm going to stamp and I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to stamp it again right next to it. So this is different from the last one. And then I'm going to go to the ink pad and do it again. So overlapping, I'm going to stamp it down, pick it up, and then stamp it again, and so that it'll be lighter. I'm going to do it all the way across, making sure to overlap and go off the edge at the bottom. Oopsie. All right, not do that the way I said I was going to do it. And actually on the card front, you're covering up almost all of it. So you don't really have to worry. But that way, when you turn it over and you look at the other side of the card, you have that sunset and the lanterns in the sky. If you really wanted to, you could go back and do it again or, you know, make your treetops higher. But I think this looks great just the way it is. So let me know when you're done with that.
Just about.
Fine, take your time. So for this card, our sentiment is going to be stamped right on that. It's like a windowsill. And you'll see how it comes together. But this one they did use wishing you happiness, and I'm going to go ahead and do that again. You could use your happy birthday if you want. Of course, wishing you happiness. You can also go with that. And we're going to move on to that. You good to move on to that, Lynn?
Not quite.
Okay.
1 second. Okay. Got it.
Okay. So you're going to take the trees off of your block and you're going to put your sentiment on that you want. So I'm going to use wishing you happiness. And you just want to make sure that you have your windowsill. So the longer edge is at the top, shorter edge is at the bottom, and you're going to stamp right in the center. Hopefully you get yours a little straighter than mine. And that will be all the stamping for today. Okay?
Yep.
All right, great. Okay, so let's assemble our card. So we're going to fold our card in a nice crease. And first thing we're going to do is take that window. There it is. But I lost the lantern. And we're going to punch out all the panes, the window panes, okay? So you can see that the outline of the panes is designed to open, but we don't need to open it. I did, because, I said, I got to see how this is going to work. But this would be a great die cut to have, I think, because what it does is it is still adhered here. It has a fold line, and then that's where you could fold it out. But we don't have to do that for this card, but I'm just showing you how that would work. But the card actually ends up being flat. So let me show you the card so you can have an idea of where we're going. See, I just pulled it open just a littlest bit so that you could kind of see what's going on there. So once you get all of that punched out, we're going to put adhesive on the back. And this is where you can use your tear and tape, but you want to put it, they put it on all four sides. I'll do that to you today. Usually I don't, but I will today. And we're not going to glue it down yet, so just get your adhesive on the back of that. And then you can put dimensionals on each of the lanterns. And you can throw away all those extra window pane pieces. Oh, those all made it in. That's good. We're just going to use, whoop, there you go, right here. I'm just using one regular size dimensional on each, but if you're using the minis, you could use, 2 or even 3 on the big one if you wanted to. And then I'm going to take off your backing. All right. So let me know when you have all your adhesive applied. And then we'll put it together. Oops, and I forgot. We're going to put dimensionals do go on the back of what we stamped on that windowsill too. There. I like to use the edges of my dimensionals for these long, skinny ones, because that way cover a lot of real estate. Just using the edges. When we do put it together, we're going to be using the method that they recommended in the video. So every time there's a paper pumpkin kit, Stampin' Up! Does have the video that goes with it that you can find on YouTube. And I actually checked it out to see how it was. I didn't really understand the instructions on this one, so I had to go to the videotape, check it out, see what I was supposed to do.
Okie dokie.
Great. Okay, let's start with the largest lantern. Now for the lantern, remember, the light is at the bottom. I know I keep turning them like, like they're cans, but they're not. They're upside down. So this one is going to go, and it really doesn't have to be perfect, but this is where they recommended putting this one. So right next to the lowest one that's printed on the card. And then they put the second one kind of on a little bit of an angle to the right of the biggest one. And then the little one, you gotta make sure you got your little light at the bottom because I keep messing that up. So this is what it ends up looking like. So you've got one, and then you got the double, and then you got the little one. So big, double, little.
Got it.
Okay. And now we're going to take our window and we are going to put it onto the top of this. So the way I found easiest is I started in the top left corner, lined up that left corner right there, then made sure I was still aligned at the bottom. And then I'm going to press it down so that it goes all the way across. And there we go. And because I pulled the windows open a little bit, you can kind of see that a little bit better. But again, you don't have to. It'll sort of, press it up a little bit. And the last thing is just to put that sentiment at the bottom. So again, it's just a windowsill, so it's going at the bottom of your window. I'm just centering it at the bottom there. So it's just a fun summery card. Great for a summer birthday. It could even be for a wedding. It could be for a lot of things. So while you're finishing that up, I'll take you over to share my screen and show you some alternative projects. I'm going to go over here, share it. We're going to start from the beginning, hopefully. Come on. There it goes. Okay, so we have Brian King, and what Brian did is he took the second card and he cut it the front in half, and then put the fireworks adhered to the top of the bottom half, if you will, so that it makes it a fun fold. And when you open it, he must have glued the top portion to the inside of the card, right? So that it makes it a fun fold, or like a Dutch door fold, right? I think that's what that's called, a Dutch door fold. So I always like what he does. So I always like to look at that. And he used Celebrate. I thought that was clever too, is that he used the stamp that says Time to Celebrate, and he just inked up the Celebrate. So that's card number one. Next we have Scrapbook Page. So she just used the coordinating colors and created these banners, and you could see she used some of the, this is from the envelopes. So she cut from the envelopes to make the strips, and then she cut from the card fronts to make these little circles on the side. And I just thought this was very well done, very clean, and it would make a great July 4th or just summer evening scrapbook page. Next up is another fun fold. This is from Jill Blanchett, and she made it, I don't know what this fold is called, but she basically she made it a vertical card and folded up the bottom and then folded back down again to make it so that it stands a little bit better. And you can see that she only adhered the element to the front portion. Okay. So that's from Jill, a fun fold. And the next one, so this is a whole bunch of cards from Jody Fraser that she did. So you can see she cut apart all of the card fronts. Here she made them, the lanterns, she did use them as like votives, right? So I guess you could look at them as either like little candles in a jar or as lanterns as they were designed. So, and I thought this was cute. She just put that pretty back side of card number 2, and she put the little moon. She cut a little moon. That's always fun. So I thought these were clever, and you just showed the versatility of cutting apart your cards and getting more out of them. So look down here, she made those into like little flower pots too. So cute. All right, this is Laura Siki. She, to me, is the premier designer for Paper Pumpkin Alternatives. This is one of her 2 sets. So I think she has, another 6 or 7 cards in another set, but you can see how she used them. She used the sailboat from the Sunset Coast. Here at the lighthouse too. So she, made use of those and just pulled them together. This one is a fun fold. It's a bridge. It's called a bridge card. So this is one of those bookbinding cards. So it just goes to show you can do so many different things with these. And then next, this is a fun fold that has lots of different folds on it. So this is Louise. And I thought it was interesting. She used this color and she was picking it up. You can see I'd never noticed that this color was in that paper. And somebody else had commented on it too, on the post that she did with this. Like, we never would have thought to use, I believe this is Summer Splash. And it does. It pulls that color out. All of a sudden you see it now where it was invisible before. Okay. Here's a whole bunch of others. Lynn Dunn also does a spectacular job with Paper Pumpkin Alternatives. She does with everything she does. She's really pretty amazing. And you can see she used the dies that go with this quarter's kits that you can get. It's a set of 3 or 4 dies. It has the fireworks with the little stars. This one right here, you can see them up here. So it's stitched, the fireworks are stitched, and then it has the little star holes for the firework. So very fun and pretty. Next up, Rachel Tessman. She has a whole bunch of different designs, but she was showing this with she just cut it into a whole bunch of little squares, and then she aligned black squares, same size squares, and then with a dimensional, she put on the corresponding squares. It's in the same design as that card front, or the top of that card front, and it became a lovely card. You can see it all goes together, and she had a couple of different designs with this. So very fun. And then Rachel Carter. This one I think actually shouldn't be here. I'm sorry. She had it in the section, but this was like here. Yes, it does. It does belong here. So it's the You Light Up My Life. So she's using the old Firefly. That's why I got confused. Last year we had a kit that had the fireflies in them. And this year she used the little lanterns and the little string lights as the background. Here she used the background paper, or the envelope paper. I'm not sure how this one got here, but must use something. Otherwise it wouldn't be there. So, all right. And then this one I thought was great. Look how she, obviously she had a stamp from something else, but she's got a graduate here holding the diploma, and she had die cut out the graduation. And I just thought that was great to be able to show that this is great for graduations too. So I thought this was really very well done. This is the Everyday Arches. And that's it.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is today's class. Let's see. Let's turn this over and remove spotlight. There we go. All right. So what do you girls think? Which one was your favorite?
I like the window.
Yeah, the window one. I thought that was clever and different.
Yeah, I like the idea of having a die like that. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool, right? Yeah, so maybe someday. Maybe that's what they're telling us. Lost a card. Here we go. All right. So yeah, I think that they're all fun. I think this is going to be my most versatile one. Yes. But I do like this one. And this one looks nice too. So, all right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for joining. And those of you who are on replay, thank you for watching, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.